So I've reviewed and engaged with almost 1,000 CVs over my lifetime. And one thing I can clearly say is most people that don't go through the application stage, it's not really because they are not qualified or they don't have the experience or skills required to really make that job work. It's because their CVs or cover letters or whatever it is they're submitting don't really showcase who they are and how they can do the job effectively, which is what the recruiters or the application tracking system really wants to know. The goal of your resume or your CV is not really to tell the application or tell the recruiters everything you've done. It's not really a diary of experiences to say, okay, I have 1,000 years experience doing this, this, and this. It's to succinctly tell the reviewer or the recruiter two things. Number one, why you are a good fit for the role and why you're a good fit for the company. Really. In this video, I want to teach you 3 things actually that recruiters or the tracking system, the application tracking system, actively looks out for when reviewing either your resume or your CV. Before we dive in, I just want to say something. Now, I've gotten a lot of DMs, questions, just like wanting to know more about how exactly do I really have a good CV, good cover letter myself, without having to pay for someone or, pay someone to write it. And with all of this said, we're having a skill workshop, a career workshop that basically helps you to scale your career, where we, deep dive into the fundamentals of writing a CV cover letter. I've always said work experience is not paid experience, but in this workshop, you get to see in practical, real terms how you have so much work experience just sitting inside of you and you have not really brought out this potential. So the goal of this workshop is to, actually take live feedback from people, just ask random questions. Okay, what exactly have you done? And in this live workshop, we co-create, we help you, really define or craft out how all of this can be put as work experience that goes into your CV and your cover letter. The workshop is going to be holding next month, November. All communication details will be shared in posters after the video, so watch out for that. But it's going to be holding in November. It's live workshop, it's free. All you need to do is register for the workshop. You could even tell us some of the things you're looking forward to getting in the workshop, and we'll make sure the workshop is packed and insightful for you. For the further details, look out for the flyer coming out, and we'll share more details on that. So let's jump back into the video. Now let's take it one after the other. The first, understanding your role. What do I mean by understanding your role? So people, what they do is they see a job application online, they just scan through it. Immediately, some people, even without reading the job application, they already just submit their CVs, submit their transcript and things like that, which I think is fundamentally wrong. How do you show that you understand a role you're applying for? Number one is you need to read through the job description very well. The job description, you clearly see the type of experience they're looking for, the minimum years of experience, what you'll be required to do, the type of soft skills you need to have on the job. If you read through the job description well, you can clearly even pick out words in the job description that you would use for your CV, right? So imagine a job description that says we need someone that has financial modeling skills, and then you write your CV and your cover letter and there's nothing financial modeling there, right? It clearly shows there's a dissonance between what is it the job or the company wants and what is it you are offering. So one way you can clearly show, just portray yourself as someone that understands the role when you're submitting your CV or you're applying for any job is to read the job description well. As you're reading the job description, if you have if there's a way you can highlight it on your screen, the things they're looking out for, both technical and soft skills, right? So as you're reading the job description, specifically look out for technical and soft skills. When I mean technical, it could be like data analysis, it could be financial modeling, it could be 3D design. For engineering, it could be SolidWorks, those type of things. It shows the skills, technical skills, the company that put out the job application is looking out for. And when I say soft skills, things around leadership, communication, managing a team, those things, needs to clearly come out in your CV, your resume, and your cover letter. So I'll recap again. The first thing you need to do is show that you clearly understand the role. And this is by what? The good way to do it is by reviewing the job description in detail. You can go a step further by even then, reaching out to someone on LinkedIn that works in the company to say, I'm about to apply for this job. I understand from the job description, these are the things required. Am I missing out on anything? And so that person then helps you to fill any gaps you have. But even by just reviewing the job description alone, you can clearly tailor your CV and your cover letter to what the application or what the company requires of you. So the second thing will definitely make you stand out, as you're applying for jobs is you need to show that you've done this before. right? My mantra is work experience doesn't have to be paid experience. And so I don't want you to feel overwhelmed if, let's say, you're applying to a multinational organization or to an organization that requires you to do something and you're like, okay, I haven't done this before, so I wouldn't apply for the job. I don't think so. I feel like, in one way, shape, or form, you have done something similar before. It might not necessarily be in the same context, but you've done something similar before and you want to quantify or show that you've done it before. Example is you're working for a growth, strategy firm. All they do is they really help organizations to grow, to scale in new markets and things like that. And you're coming in as a business analyst. You're basically coming in as a graduate intern. They're like, okay, so I haven't really, worked for a professional organization before that's helped businesses to grow or scale, right? Which I think is wrong. Imagine if during your summer holiday you worked on your dad's farm actually. So your dad has a big or a rice processing plant, right? Or he has a banana plantation farm. Let's put it that way, right? And what you did was you came into the farm. It was harvest time, and so they already like harvested the crops and things like that. But you came to the farm because you went to school. You think, well, so you taught your dad and his workers how best to store their produce that they could then use it across like 3 or 4 months rather than just, okay, so they harvest today and they have to sell tomorrow. If not, everything goes bad. And so with this, your new process or your new method, your dad was able to increase his revenue because he then stored, his produce to a time where he could sell at a higher price. So if, let's say, typical revenue per month was making, let's say, 200,000 naira, random numbers, right? But then because of, just the advice she gave to him, he was able to make 200,000 naira in the first month. But because he sold at a higher price by the 4th month, he made, triple of that. So he made 600,000 naira. And now he has, revenue or capital to either buy a new farm, but just like expand his farm plantation by 1 hectare, right? What you've done there is literally helping your dad scale his business, whether you like it or not. And so even if you're applying to a job for this like large organization or large multinational, like it doesn't need to be fancy. You package it well, like literally saying that worked in a large or plantation where I helped grow revenue by 3x because you increased revenue from 200,000 to 600,000. But then you also helped scale the business by increasing their assets because you helped your dad acquire a new hectare of land because of the increase in revenue. What exactly am I seeing in my example? Is that as you think of crafting your CV and your cover letters, don't overthink it. The second thing is you need to show that you've done this before and you need to use quantifiable examples. If we're going back to the example I said, right? Grow revenue by 3x, expanding asset size, and so invariably helping to scale and grow the business. You've clearly shown that you've done this before, even if you think that, you don't have any legit or qualified work experience. To recap, the second thing you need to show to your recruiters to make you stand out is you need to show that you've done this before using concrete and quantifiable examples. Right? So think back. What exactly are they saying you should do? If, okay, let's say I want to go something really technical like building financial models. Maybe you've not built a revenue forecast or an income financial statement before and all of these things. But what you've done is you're able to, come up with a CGPA calculator for students in your school. You can frame it as you've built a financial model. It's all going back to how are you able to take the experiences, the qualification, the skills you have today, and really package it and portray it in a way that is appealing and interesting to the person reviewing your CV. Now, the third thing I want to say, I want to just mention that will make you stand out in your CV is you need to know how to quantify your impact. I emphasize quantify your impact. So let's use the example of, you really worked hard on your dad's farm. Your dad now has more money. He has more assets. And you say, oh, I was so passionate about agriculture and, helping my family business. I helped them to do this. And now my daddy has more money. Full stop. And you put that in your CV. If you were the reviewer, how do you think you would take that? Right? Imagine saying that, worked on a 2-month project with my family business where I helped scale the business, increase revenue by 3x, increasing their asset size by, let's say, okay, the total assets of the business. When I say asset, I'm basically talking about what's the value of the land, what's the value of the tractors or whatever it has on the farm. Just basic assets, right? So imagine all your total assets was like 2 million. random number, right? And so you increase the assets from 2 million to, let's say, 2.5, right? So you see that basically, so you increase revenue by 3x, increase the value of, the total family business asset from 2 million to 2.5 million, which has opened the business up to more opportunities that now, we are getting contracts worth 2x what we would have done before. All I've done is literally going back to the plantation example. It's quantifying your impact, showing that you can take something small, make it big. And it's even easier for you to tell your story because you cannot have this same huge impact if you're working for a multinational like KPMG. Like, how exactly are you able to help you, a single individual, help KPMG increase their revenue by 2x? It's not impossible. It's going to be more difficult, right? So you even have more advantage thinking of, working in smaller businesses and smaller experiences, because then the scale of impact is higher than you would typically have in a large organization, right? So the third thing you need to do is you need to always quantify your impact. There must be numbers. Think of it. So basically, your mom has 5 stores, and in the 5 stores you helped grow revenue, and now she's now the largest. Basically, everybody's coming to buy from her instead of her competitors. So you helped her to increase her market share. So let's make this very practical. Write down all your experiences on paper, which I think you've done already if you've been watching all my videos so far. Then look for market terms that help you quantify the results you got. Think of market share, revenue increase, asset value. These are financial business terms that everybody that works in a corporate or business world understands. And to show that you understand or you know what the job is about, which is the second point, you need to use these terms. But then you also need to quantify the impact and results you've achieved before, using numbers, actual numbers, increased market share, increased revenue, increased profit or margins on products, help reduce costs, basic terms, right? Basic to me, but you can always get to my level if you continue watching my YouTube videos. Final 2 points I would leave with you as we wrap up in today's video. Number 1 is you need to tailor your CV to the job or the company you're applying to. Even if it's the same industry, right? It's the same oil and gas. But there are several companies you're applying to Shell, Chevron, and whatever the last one is. You need to always tailor it, because if you do the due diligence of reading through the job description, you will see that there are tweaks required, either in terms of the soft skill required, technical skills required. There are tweaks you need to make to your CV. So go through your job description and tailor the CV to the company or to the job specific role. The second thing is you need to proofread and give a final great impression to your recruiter. You don't want your recruiters to be seeing typos and or abbreviations. Imagine you say I did something and then your I is there and then you'd put D as did, like DEED rather than DID. These are just fundamentals that we shouldn't even be talking about here, right? So please proofread. Make sure that you've dotted your I's and you've crossed your T's. Good fonts, good font size, good fonts and things like that. Just making sure everything is clean, because this is the first impression. This is the first contact they would have with you. This is the first way they get to know you as a person, and so you just want to leave a very good impression. Imagine if after doing all of the great things I have said earlier, now just typographical error is what disqualifies you. It's not necessary now. So please, let's do the right thing. Now, a final and bonus point for me that you think will really make it stand out, as you're applying for jobs, your CVs, your cover letter, is the type of resume layout and format that you use, right? And so one mistake I've seen is a lot of people use colors, use highlight things in red and they'll highlight things in yellow, or you use italics in a place and you just make the whole CV look like a fashion design show, which is not necessary. A professional, clean CV, number 1, use a professional font. It could be Times New Roman, it could be Aptos, it could be Calibri. Just pick. If the organization has specified one, good for you. If not, just stick with Times New Roman. I think that's the basic professional. You can't go wrong with it. Number 2 is, rather than you using several font size, maybe use a bigger font size or for your name, bold it. But every other thing, I don't think should use font size 11 here and then you come and use font size 8 because you're trying to reduce space, and then use font size 12 because you're trying to emphasize a number. It's not a PowerPoint design slide, it's a CV format, right? So one thing you want to make sure it is clean, crisp, professional. I've done several CV formats, which I think I've linked in previous videos. For the sake of emphasis, again, check the description box and see standard CV formats you can use in 2025. tell me thank you afterwards. In conclusion, your CV, I don't think needs to be fancy. I don't think you need to have like fancy names. If you have it, it's a plus for you, I won't lie. But I don't think you need to have fancy names and all these things to make you really move from being an applicant to being like a job or an employee, right? If you follow all the steps I've said earlier, I'm sure you would have testimonies to share with me. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, share with your fellow, your fellow applicantees, your fellow applicants. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions in the comment section. See you in the next video. Bye.